We are just tax slaves. In the eyes of the government, we are, yes. On the left and the right. They'll get on the news and they will tell you they're working on this for the American people and they're doing this and they're doing health equity and they're doing this is to advance this and this. The role that they all serve is to keep us believing we live in a free country while they keep us in the tax slave system. That's the reason why the only action steps they ever take is when it has to do with money, especially to foreign countries, which I'm sure they're giving maybe some of it to foreign countries, but it's really most of it just comes back into their pockets. It's the worst scam ever, really. Yeah, but you know, the down face, don't let it get you down. I mean, I know it's really hardcore in a way because it's a really horrible way to treat people. I think that's why yesterday I got so angry in my one video that TikTok didn't like and was giving me a hard time putting it up. And then I did get it up like a third time and they gave me a strike for it and I ended up appealing it and they restored the content. You know, nowhere in the Bible does say to get angry. It doesn't mean, you know, go rageful, but God never says it's a sin to get angry. In fact, he says get angry. Because, I mean, if you just hold it all in. But, so I think that's why yesterday I just went off on all of them and called all of them Judases. Because everything that, if you go back to the original founding, which is 1600, it's really... It's really 1617, 16, even earlier, 1607. And that goes back to the people that came here and they risked everything in the Mayflower. And it was all about their faith. Those were the separatists and the Puritans. They didn't want to be bounded to the New England church, because it told them how to worship. It told them what they didn't believe about Jesus and about the Bible. And so that's where the original history began. Just because we've had, you know, clowns in DC that have just been, you know, good actors and good at leading people astray, even themselves, and then want to use the Bible, that's what infuriates me. Is any of these people using Bible verses or acting Christian? Because at some point while you're there, you would realize that what you're doing is really serving everything but what the original founding was about. Yet you have the audacity to go on the news every night and promote yourself and how you're working for the American people. I would imagine it's a disgrace to God in every way. That's just what I would imagine. Which is why everything is being uncovered in so many Americans. I mean, in a way, as bad as lockdowns were for many people, because it was a quality of life was ruined for many people. For other people, that's what, listen, I've come across so many videos in the last 3 years of people saying, really, when I started looking into things was during lockdown. That's when many people started researching things. You know, the one thing the system doesn't want you to do, right? Because they say you have to be an expert to research. I don't think so. And when you go to the government websites themselves, that's where you find it out. So I know it's sad. I think everybody, once you wake up to the system, you realize that's how they see you. That's how they see you. I mean, our government, the people in Washington, D.C., are no different than the World Economic Forum. They just aren't. Not 99% of them. They don't represent America. They represent money. They represent the only action steps they ever take is for money. And so then once you see the truth, you go through this mourning period a little bit. I did. My sister went through it too. You know, where you have some tearful days because you realize how much your country lied to you. But what lied to you is the fact that we have low character people that are in Washington. And the more they try to stand on religious values or that they're a Christian makes it even more of a disgrace to their character. Because their deeds show otherwise. But the original founding, the covenant with God that was made in America, even with knowing all that, that's what matters, is what God's Constitution. And I just did a video, it's uploading now, about that original one, before 1776, before all of that. That's the one that matters. That's the reason God has protected us. And yes, we've been under a tax slave system, but we could have been in a lot worse, right? I mean, that's where they'd like to take it, everyone. But that's why I get angry sometimes, because otherwise, if you don't get angry, it's just heartbreaking that people that get on the news every night that are Republicans and are Democrats, our representatives, our congressmen, and they're very good at pulling you in. They're very good at gaslighting and all sorts of stuff. The worst ones are the ones that stand on Christian values, because I don't see how you could be in Washington, be a representative or a congressman, and actually be able to operate on Christian values. I think Trump, but I mean, he was the president. I think he was, although doing that, you have to do the balance between, you can't make it all about that, but trying to protect that founding. But yet, he didn't talk a lot about his faith. But we have a lot of congressmen that do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about your faith. I think that there's a reason you shouldn't be like, if you're a congressman or representative carrying on like that with a lot of tweets using the Bible, because it shows just the fact that you're a congressman or a representative, that if you're doing that, I think it's probably really insulting to God in every way, because it's not honest. I don't think you really can be honest in the swamp. And the swamp makes everything about money. So when Mike Johnson sits down and has his he wants to be Speaker of the House, and all the Republicans want to put him up on a pedestal, and a bunch of people in this country want to put him up on a pedestal. No, I say no. All you Republicans are no different than the Democrats. I've said before, I'll give the Democrats even a little bit more respect here, okay? Because I really don't have. I have very little for them. None, actually. But I have at least one little bit more of respect for them than I do the Republicans, and that's because they'll at least be ugly right to your face. They'll at least show their ugliness and not try to hide behind this idea that they're standing on some cause, okay? I mean, the Republicans, with this whole Mike Johnson as Speaker thing, as I said, they are able to show that they have action steps that they take, immediate action steps when it comes to our money, but not anything else. They'll do hearings, and it's important to watch those hearings because the truth comes out. Nothing will be done about it. It'll take a miracle. Because Joe Biden should have been, there's a ton of people that should have been arrested by now. That's how corrupt it is. So how easy do you think it is to stand on Christian values in the swamp? I mean, that's what you need, is people that are strong enough to really stand on that, and instead of sitting down with people saying, we have to come up with a deal to send aid to Ukraine and Israel, you say, no, I'm not sitting down with that deal at all. I'm having nothing to do with it. That's not putting America first. And I came here to serve the American people, not the Israeli people or the Ukraine or any other country. I came here that's what's needed. So Mike Johnson clearly wasn't able to do that, because they all get taken in by the swamp, and then they totally lose sight of, well, what the original Constitution was, which was the covenant made with God. And more importantly, they really lose sight, because if you can justify your actions using Scripture, then it just shows that, well, you're really a liar. Don't be down. If you have to get angry, just within reason, obviously. They won't win. Every one of them will face God's judgment.